Welcome to the Limitless Entrepreneur Podcast, your weekly dose of strategies and mindset tools to build a business in alignment with your purpose and to get you playing a bigger game. I'm your host, Nicole Lano. Hello, and welcome to the Limitless Entrepreneur Podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Nicole Lano, and we're here with one of our mini episodes for you. We drop these on Mondays. We just started this, maybe a month or two ago, where we give you a little something extra. These are typically under 15 minutes. They're a little something to set you off into your week with more clarity, something inspiring, some new way to look at things, a new perspective. I don't have a lot of rules on what these have to be. But it's meant to give you a little pick me up, a little kickstart into your week. So I hope you're enjoying them. And if you are, I would love to know what you think of them. Send me a DM on Instagram or connect with me over on LinkedIn and send me a message. Let me know what you think of this, or pop it into your stories and tag me so I can see. Today, we're going to do a little bit of a different thing. We've done this before, but I don't do these all the time. We're going to talk about the transits, human design transits. Now, that is when we're tracking the cosmic weather as the sun and planets and other stars move into different positions. They affect us. They affect everyone because that's the atmosphere that we are all living in. That is the cosmic themes that are out there. So, and they're activating all of us different ways because they react differently based on our charts. So if we have a hanging gate, like if you have gate 48 in the spleen and you have that hanging where it doesn't connect and it's not the full channel, but then the sun moves into gate 16, which is the harmonic gate to gate 48. That completes the channel of the wavelength. So now suddenly you have access to that channel because the sun is in one position and you have a gate that's consistent in you on the other side. So now you get to experience for that 6-day period or so that the sun is in that position, you get to experience that energy. So you experience it differently. And this happens to all of us and it's happening all the time. But so what the sun, the earth, the moon, all of these different planets and stars, as they move into different positions, we experience the energy of the gates that they are sitting in. So basically, we look at it every moment. We could take a snapshot of where they all are. So babies are being born right now. And if a baby was being born right now, there'd be a snapshot and that would become their chart. That would become the personality black side of their chart. Basically, we're looking at that. We're pairing it with this is what's happening right now. And then you have your chart on the other side, which is saying this is who you are all the time. And when we put those together, we get a composite chart. We get kind of a different vibe to us. This is why we feel different as time goes on, as things change. You might have an activation that causes you, if you're not emotional, to have a defined solar plexus sometimes. It's happened all the time, particularly if you're a reflector. Or if you have a lot of hanging gates, so if you're a projector, or even if you're a generator with a lot of openness in your chart. So there's a lot of gates hanging. And when we have hanging gates, they're kind of like waiting for something to come and activate them and complete that channel. So you could very realistically, you could have a lot going on based on the activations that are happening in the stars and the planets. So we call it the transits in human design. So why am I talking about this today? Because there's something interesting happening this week. So I forget, is it Tuesday or Wednesday? On Wednesday of this week, the 23rd of November, the sun will be moving into gate 34. And now when the sun moves into any gate, the earth is automatically the pairing partner to it. It's the opposite gate. If you're looking at the mandala wheel, it's the opposite gate, the gate on the other side. These are what we call pairing partners. Now they have a relationship together. Only three of these pairing partners are actually channels in the human design chart. So when the sun is in gate 34, that automatically means that the earth is going to be in gate 20. Now, what does that mean for everyone? That means that 34 and 20 are a channel connecting the sacral to the throat center. So what that means is that makes the channel of charisma is that channel, channel 3420. The 3420 channel is the channel of charisma. It's the channel that says, I have to do it and I have to do it now. That's kind of the vibe of this one, because it combines the gate of power, which is gate 34, and the gate of now, which is gate 20, which is about speaking truth in the now. And gate 34 is about doing it, the power to do what is correct. And because it comes out of the sacral, there's response associated with that. But what's interesting about this one is there's only 3 channels that are also pairing partners, and 3420 is one of them. Now, why that's interesting for the transits, I mean, that's interesting. It's kind of rare because there's only, out of 36 channels, only 3 of them do this. But the 3420 channel, that means that because of the cosmic weather, until the 28th of November, everyone will have their sacral defined, and everyone will have their throat defined. So if you have an open throat or an open sacral, you will have definition there for the next week or so, which is just sort of an interesting thing. So you might find, so pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention. Do you feel more? This is a channel, very much a channel of being busy. It's very much a channel of like a lot of busy energy. It can be hard to sit still if you have the 3420. I don't have this, but I have a lot of clients who have it. There can be just this general sense of feeling like you've got to be moving all the time. There's always something to do, and it's not going to change your authority. But even though you have your sacral defined, it's not going to change the authority for you. Your authority always stays the same. But what might happen is, because you have this get up and go, this urge to do things now, you might have a lot of power to move for the next week. It's still important to follow your authority. It's still important to follow your strategy and authority into correct action. And it's going to be very important. This is going to be really spontaneous. You're going to feel that. So if you're a projector and you get the invitation to move on something and it feels correct for you, your spleen says yes. If you're a splenic projector, if you're emotional, you kind of, you hang out with it for a bit. So there's still going to be a little bit of waiting for you if you're emotional, because we're always waiting a little bit. But it might be that you're going to have the words, you're going to have the way of expressing what it is you want to do, whether it be creating it through writing, or if you feel the need to, like, if you feel the urge to go live or do something kind of spontaneous where maybe you don't normally feel comfortable with it, you might have a little bit more confidence in something like that this week. So that's how these things can affect us. And I thought it was interesting just that everybody's going to have a defined sacral and a defined throat for the next week. And if you don't have this channel defined normally in your chart, you might just feel the need. And if you're sacral, definitely make sure you're still following. It's a sacral yes into action, and not just, I got to act, I got to act, I got to act, because that's a low frequency of this channel. It's a poor use of it. So pay attention to what comes up for you. Do you feel like you've got more confidence, more power? Do you feel more spontaneous? Do you feel like you have command of your words? So maybe if you feel like, if you were winging a live video or something like that, if you had the urge to go live on Instagram because you're just like, this feels so right now, I feel like this is correct for me right now. You follow correct action into it. You might find that it's like your best live ever, because the words are just there. That's why it's the channel of charisma. Those people that just have this gift of speaking to people and warming up to people and making people kind of in awe of them. We all might have a little bit more charisma for the next week. So I wanted you all to know that. I wanted you to have that go off into this week. Enjoy your Thanksgiving if you're American, and you might be extra charismatic over this holiday weekend with your family. I hope you are. Let me know what you think of this. And I would love to know what comes up for you. What do you notice? Do you notice having more power? Do you notice having more confidence in the now? Do you feel more your ability to be present? Does that feel heightened over the next week or so? This is a great way to play with other energies. This is a great time to contemplate the meanings of these gates and of these channels. That's a great way to go through the wheel and just start to get to know the chart and know the things that you have or you don't have. And if you have this in your chart already, you might just feel this amped up, like this is cranked up to 10. So if you have this in your chart already, which means that you are a manifesting generator, if you do, make sure you're following strategy and authority. Make sure you are waiting for sacral response before you jump into something. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please take a little screenshot, share it in your Instagram stories, tag me. I'm at Nicole Leno Official so that I can see what you thought of the episode, and send me a message if you want to tell me a little something personal that came up for you, or if you just don't want to share it publicly. I would love to hear from you. So remember, you are only limited by the limitations that you accept. And when you stop accepting those limitations, that is when you become limitless. So go out there and be limitless, everyone. I will see you in the next episode. If you loved this episode, please leave us a review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to this podcast. And if you want to stay in touch with us, we would love to have you as a part of our Facebook community, Practical Manifestors. It's a community for process-driven women looking for clear and actionable steps to embodying a life of wealth and alignment. Join us at Practical Manifestors in Facebook, or go to www.innerceogroup.com.